This is the third video in the series on stalking and the problems of other people, although here I'm going to be talking about the problems of the stalker. A resource many of you may want to have a look at if you're experiencing being stalked is the Reddit subreddit r/stalking, which I will put a link to on the screen now and also in the link below. There is some excellent advice that is given on the stalking forum. Unfortunately, there are so many people posting that they're being stalked. I mean, it's quite shocking just how many people experience this. I say it's unfortunate because obviously it's unfortunate for those people. It means the same questions keep getting asked and the same advice keeps getting given. What catches my attention here is that there are so many people reporting being stalked, and there's a recurring set of themes really on how stalkers behave. And so that is something that's worth looking through, because you'll start to see, okay, I've got a stalker. Oh, this is not unique to me. It clearly is not just about me, because there's all these other people being stalked too, and they're experiencing pretty much the same thing. So stalking takes on a set of themes and a set of forms in which it takes. One of the questions that keeps coming up on the forum is, how long should I expect to be stalked for? How long are these people going to keep this behavior up? Be prepared to be in for the long haul. Stalkers stalk because they like stalking. Stalking is what they do. The thing they crave is the high they get from their stalking behavior. They don't want an end point. They don't want a conclusion. When they say to you, okay, if you just do X, Y, and Z, and then I'll leave you alone, don't be fooled. It's a lie. It's a complete lie. If you just do this for me, if you just send me this, if you just tell me that, no, they are just using those things as manipulation to get closer to you. They're not going to go, oh, okay, now I'm satisfied. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You've satisfied the need that I had, and now it's all concluded, and I shall now leave you alone and get on with my life. No. Stalkers stalk because they're stalkers. So when you have a stalker who's asking you to do X for them, or if you don't do this, then I'm going to do this and be worse. I will release those photos on the internet. I will start phoning your employer and your colleagues and the people. I've got your Facebook friends list. When you start to get those behaviors, don't be manipulated by them. Don't be fooled by them. They're going to be doing those things anyway. Now, I've had, if you've watched the previous video, you'll be aware that I had a stalker for just over 2 years. That only ended because she killed herself. This was pre-trial, and basically she topped herself rather than face the trial, which brought it to an end. I have no doubt whatsoever, had she have been jailed, which she probably would have been at that trial, maybe a year, 18 months. I mean, in the UK here, it's not like lock them up and throw away the key. What do you think she's going to do for those 18 months? Do you think she's just going to be sat around ruminating and plotting and planning? I think so. And I very much doubt that when she would then come out of jail, whether she would then go, oh, I've learned my lesson. Nope. Might find a new target, of course, but most likely is likely to resume. So if your stalker is locked away, the chances are that's not the end point. And this is the horrific reality of stalking, is that they will continue, because stalking is what they do. And how many people have had their stalker jailed, and the stalker still manages to find ways of sending messages and communications to the victim. They use various methods of continuing the relationship the best way they can. And that's just horrendous. And sometimes they may even file a court case against the victim. And that's not unusual. Now, I've had a recent scenario with a narcissistic, I would say stalker, but it's actually slightly different because this was more a business context. So a narcissistic stalker who engaged in the smear campaign that goes very commonly with narcissistic type stalkers. And this person was demanding X, Y, and Z. Now, when they were demanding very early on that I did X, Y, and Z, those things demanding legally were probably quite reasonable to demand. However, I knew that were I to give in to those things early on, that person now feels, right, I've got him, I've got a connection. Now I've got this out of him, I will now go to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So what I did is I took a reasonable gamble, which was, don't give in to any of those demands early on. And should this person then go through the courts, let that happen, because that then immediately brings in other agencies, lawyers, barristers, and various other people, which will then contain and control this individual's behavior, because they would have to then adhere to the advice they're getting. Otherwise, they're going to get themselves into a whole load of bother. So it seemed reasonable to me to allow that person to bring a court case against me, rather than try and get rid of them by giving them the small amount of money that they demanded in order to walk away. Because I knew, were I to give them that money, they weren't going to go away. That wasn't going to happen. And a couple of people I consulted with this, they said, oh, just give him the money. No, it wasn't about the money. I could see it wasn't about the money, but no one else could. So I was quite happy to lose in court, potentially, because it wouldn't have been that much money, but it would have taken control away from that particular individual. As it was, they continued and continued for about a year. They kept changing the demands. There would be this demand, do this and I'll go away. Now do this and go away. And every time I gave no response whatsoever, absolutely nothing, when that didn't work, they would then invent a new demand and then a new demand. And it became more and more fantastical and more absolutely outlandish. I mean, it's just crazy stuff. To the point, it became very obvious to everyone looking on that this guy's got a screw loose. And that, unfortunately, took 8 months for it to become aware to other people that actually he is the one who's the problem. Because when the stalker is running the smear campaign, the problem that you have as the victim is you're made out to look like you're the perpetrator, you're the bad guy. Because what they'll do is run the smear campaign highlighting every fault, every personality quirk, everything that you ever said will be used against you, twisted, manipulated, and fed back. 2 types of lie that I have witnessed, both in clients that I work with, but also the proper stalker, the one who killed herself, and then this business relationship. You get the lie that has a basis in truth. So they'll say something that is largely 90% true, and it's the drop of poison in the well. They drop the poison in, which is just a little line, a little tweak within the story that they've told that portrays you, it reframes the whole situation. And you're going to see this more with the narcissistic type stalker, where there's an element of truth to what they're saying, which makes it very hard to deny. And then also you have the other lie. And this one I only saw with the narcissistic stalker, and I was like, wow, this is clever. This is the absolutely 100% untrue, outrageous lie. That this is so untrue, there is no truth to it. Literally, there is not even an element to it. Now, when I was on the receiving end of that the first time, I thought, now that's interesting, because if I deny this, I'm going to make it true in the eyes of the observers, the observing masses. Because what people do is they don't assume something is complete fiction. They assume it must be true to a degree. And if you say, no, it's completely untrue, that is all 100% lie, well, there must be something to it. He wouldn't just make that up. Now, by denying it, you look like you're lying. So the grandiose lie makes you, the victim, look like the liar. It's a fantastic strategy. And that's what this ex-business person was doing, was like, whoa, that is incredible. So I can't deny that, because I know the psychology of people. They will think there must be some truth to it. Why is Austin denying it completely? No smoke without fire. That's just an extraordinary thing. So if you're on the receiving end of the grandiose lie, don't deny it. Again, I'm with Wes Watson on this one. With explanations, your enemies won't believe them and your friends don't need them. So don't bother. Just completely disregard it. Over time, of course, as they produce more grandiose lies when they don't get a response, because that's what the lie is about. It's to try and get a response from you. Don't give them that response. Over time, they're going to start to contradict themselves. Their lies will cut across other lies, and people will start to see. But you won't be able to deny it and make it go away with that way. Or try and explain it away. If you try and explain this away, other people, well, they love it. You've got to be realistic here. Everyone loves a good stalking. And so if you try and explain the truth to people, you're on hiding to nothing, because you're now building the drama. And remember, some of those people you're explaining to will then go ahead and reveal everything you just said to the stalker, because they may well be friends with them. They may be colleagues of them. They may be their flying monkeys. So everything you say will be used against you. And this is why it's really important to say nothing at all. So don't try and explain it away when there is the lie that has an element of truth to it, because it is based on truth and they've manipulated it. And absolutely do not deny the grandiose lie that they tell, because that is a big mistake. As always, do please use the comment section below. If you have any observations, experiences, or additions to this particular theme, do please let me know in the comment section, and it would be really helpful to me if you could click that lovely like button. Thank you for watching my video, and I will produce another one very soon.